Embattled Mayor Bob Filner has reportedly completed his 2 weeks of intensive behavioral therapy, but he's not yet back on the job.
The mayor is taking some personal time off before returning to City Hall, but dozens of opponents were there this afternoon, sending the message that Filner is not welcome back. News 8's Phil Blauer is live downtown with more from today's rally. Phil?
Barbara and Carla, the mayor's lawyer James Payne, who's based out of Irvine, said that his client would not return to work while the 70-year-old continues outpatient treatment. Still, that did not stop dozens of the mayor's detractors today who say, hey, don't bother coming back to City Hall at all. About 75 San Diegans gathered outside City Hall to protest the return of embattled Mayor Bob Filner following his completion of rehab to deal with his unwanted advances to at least 14 women who have recently come forward.
We are all standing together to say Bob must go.
Many of those attending the rally held up less than favorable signs reading "Rehab Reject" and "Bounce the Bully." The crowd featured people from all political parties and from around the city, from San Ysidro to Rancho Bernardo to south of the 8th, where the mayor represented the area as a longtime congressman.
People who have lived in Bob's district for years are tired. They have what we call Filner fatigue. They agree. Bob must go.
Meantime, News 8 has been looking further into the mayor's chief of staff, Lee Burdick's decision last Friday to change the locks on Filner's office door. She told the Voice of San Diego, quote, "My concern was that if anything was removed while the mayor was away, it could raise all kinds of questions about preservation or spoliation of potential evidence. Because I could not possibly determine everyone who had keys, I believed it was necessary to ensure the integrity of his physical office in his absence."
If I was advising him on this before he even left for treatment, on his last day in office before he left, I would have advised him to change the locks at that point in time.
Attorney Ross Jurewitz has these thoughts about Burdick's action.
If you view the evidence as being very helpful to Mayor Filner, as presumably his chief of staff does, then what they're trying to do is they're trying to preserve the evidence so that there cannot be any allegations that he deliberately tried to destroy it prior to his trials. If you view the evidence as being hurtful to Mayor Filner, the other interpretation, which I think is probably more reasonable, is that you're trying to preserve the evidence so that it cannot be copied or accessed by people who wish to prosecute Mayor Filner.
Now, getting back to the recall effort that's been going on against the mayor has yet to formally respond to a recall petition as to why he should remain in office. He has until midnight to send a written response to the recall proponents of about 300 words or less, but he is not required to do that.
Bill, last Friday, when you went to City Hall, you ran into Chief William Lansdowne, and you did ask him about the locks and whether they'd been changed, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I did. Actually, we were coming up out of the elevator on the 11th floor, and he was coming in, and I asked him, hey, were you just here to deal with the changing of the locks on the mayor's office door? And he looked at me and grinned, and he said, have a great weekend. We're going to have more analysis of what that might have been of his visit to City Hall to watch that process when it took place, coming up again at 6:30 for you.
All right, Phil Blauer reporting for us. Thanks, Phil.